Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. Today, we're going to be talking about two currencies that I think are extremely undervalued by the community. These are resources, or I guess currencies, that can make the difference between you being an extremely efficient player and just an efficient player. Effectively using these resources can actually free up your ability to use other currencies to progress your account along a lot faster. And it took me a bit to really learn this as I progressed myself through this game, so I'm hoping that I can share this knowledge with you guys. Please like and subscribe, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's give a shout, of course, to our channel members for their continued support if you're ever interested. That link is down below, along with a link to the Discord server. Go check it out, guys. Give me a shout on there. It is a lot of fun. I love seeing the interactions we got on it going on there. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community. Let's get into our video. Alright, so the first currency that I want to start with is guild tokens. Guild tokens are one of the most important currencies in the game that oftentimes get overlooked. The reason this currency gets overlooked is because of the introduction of Mark 1, 2, and 3 currencies. Now, those are obviously the flashy ones, right? You know, with your guild tokens, you're not getting anything crazy here. However, by utilizing this resource properly, it will actually give you the ability to properly, or I shouldn't say properly, it'll give you a little bit more freedom when using your Mark II and even Mark I raid currency. Now, how does that work? Let's first kind of start with, in the guild tokens, what you have here, right? So you've got these mod materials, you've got core gear, you've even got some of these pieces here that we can turn into relic materials, carbonite circuit boards, and bronzium wiring. And then you have some random characters that rotate throughout this store. Now, with these characters, they do rotate, which is unlike the Mark I raid currency where they're all here at the bottom. But if you can use your guild tokens to purchase these characters rather than your Mark I raid currency, you can really help set yourself up for success, because you can purchase any of those characters down there with the Mark I raid currency. You can get them up here, right? But you can't get Han, Kenobi, and Traya. And just to show you how expensive that is, Young Han, Colonel Stark, and Jawa Engineer, again, they're all 200, points here. If you bought all three of them and took them to 7-star, you still won't have spent enough currency to get Darth Traya to 7-star. She's 700, each of them is 200. You multiply that by 3, you're still only at, 600. So it's insane how expensive Traya, Han, and Kenobi are comparative to these characters. So while it could sound silly, by being able to buy some of these characters with your guild tokens, you're giving yourself the opportunity to get Han, Kenobi, and Traya shards, which can be very important because you can't get them elsewhere. There's nowhere else to obtain them. So by spending this a little bit more wisely, we can get further ahead, right? The next thing I need you guys to think about with this currency is, as I mentioned, you can use this to get your biotech implants here in these blast tech weapons. And when you go over to your scavenger, what you'll notice, I'm not sure where the blast techs, I'm trying to think if they're in, they might be bronzium wiring as well. So yeah, here we go. So this blast tech, if I go here, look, I can purchase this bronzium wiring right there. Same thing with this piece here, go bronzium wiring. So what I'm able to do is use my guild tokens to get bronzium wiring, which, if you're looking down here, is available for Mark II raid currency. So now, by effectively using my guild tokens to get character shards and even get these things to help me get additional relic materials, I can save myself Mark I and Mark II to go towards other uses. So that then leaves you with this core gear, which can be very solid purchases, and the mod materials. Me personally, I'm a sucker for these mod materials. Where my account currently sits right now, I have a plethora of these thanks to the Smuggler's Run 2, Conquest, and everything else. And that's because I don't get enough of these Mark II thermal exchange units. I buy these whenever I can. I still never get enough. And then obviously I'm always short on the Mark I and 2 pieces in order to get to 6, take a mod from 5 dot to 6 dot. So if I was farming this node, all I'd end up doing is getting a bunch of these that I don't need and then a few of these that I do. But if I just spend all my time farming this node to get these 2 pieces, and then I come up here to the guild store and purchase them here, Well, now I'm making a lot more progress because I'm more utilizing my resources to make, by getting mod materials here, I can focus my energy on a different kind of mod material, and then I'm increasing my account together. So that's a big part of understanding your guild tokens. It's not so much that there's a ton of value here, in the sense that, like, you're not going to get impulse detectors, you're not going to get error magnifiers, you can't actively get bronzium wiring. But by utilizing the tokens properly and making the right purchases, you can make other things happen in your account that you can get there faster, right? That I can turn these into 6-dot mods because of the way I'm getting to use my energy. I can turn these into bronzium wiring, which then means I can use my Mark II raid currency to purchase additional relic materials here that I may need, or even use those materials to transition them into Gerda keypads or impulse detectors, depending on what I need to purchase. So guild tokens can play a massive role in your account's trajectory. And also just bear in mind that farming these characters here, even if it's slow farming, the other thing that will save you, not just the shards down there, but it's also your credits and mod materials down here. So there's a lot of things that you want to use your Mark I raid currency for. And if you can offset that with these guild tokens, it will make your life so much easier, and you will really, really notice that change. It's not something that will happen overnight. You're not going to notice your bronzium wiring jumping up right crazy because you got, 10 of these and 10 of these, right? Like, that's not breaking the bank overnight. But you do that every day, and all of a sudden that's 4 times 365. And you can do that multiple times a day because they're not that expensive. So it really does add up. The guild tokens, I think, don't get enough appreciation for how much they can really progress your account along with. And it always makes me laugh when I see a really large account that is like, I never have enough bronzium wiring, and then you look and they've got like 65,000 guild tokens. Like, just spend them here and you're going to be fine. Like, it really isn't that hard to accumulate those resources. So just, make sure you guys are doing that. I promise you will notice your account growing a lot faster. The next is the shard shop currency. And very similarly here, you can purchase mod materials again. It's just really nice. With shard shop currency, where I think this really can help you is, as your account gets further along in the game, you'll begin to accumulate more and more of this. That for a while in the beginning, you're going to be like, Phil, this is a useless currency. I promise you that once you get into that middle part of the game and you're getting more of those shards and you're getting this currency, this stuff is so important to your account's growth, right? It's so important to your account's growth. Just for perspective here, right? If you can get even just 4 gear pieces a day, right? If I can just get enough to get 4 of these fusion furnaces a day, the amount of resources that can save you is insane. Let me show you guys this. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to pop open my handy dandy calculator here. Let's pop it up. All right, here's my calculator. So you can get 4 of those gear pieces. And let's say you get that every single day. That's 1,400 relic salvage pieces every day. So what oftentimes I feel happens is you discount that. You're like, oh, it's not that important to buy stuff out of here. 4 pieces a day is 14, almost 1,500 a year. Like, that's absurd. So that, your shard shop is an extremely important area for you to obtain resources from. It's not something that you'll notice, again, overnight. It's not like all of a sudden you've got all of these things sitting in your account. But it's something you do every single day that adds up and really can make a big difference. So knowing the resources to purchase here can be extremely important to your account's success in this game. Knowing that, for example, these fusion furnaces, I farm these. I don't need to be purchasing them with this currency. But these pieces here, I don't really like the node that they're on. So you know what? Maybe I'll purchase them. Or these, right? I'll purchase that. And you know what? We'll get this and I'll get that. I mean, I just buying a bunch of stuff just to prove a point. But you get the concept I'm trying to portray here. That it's not just that, oh, I can purchase these things and now that frees up my energy to farm these, or frees up my, Mark II raid currency to purchase whatever I need. Effectively using currencies like the shard shop can completely change how fast your account progresses. Now, with shard shop currency, you can also get Datacron materials, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them. What I will tell you is that I don't think the smartest decision for most accounts in this game is to be spending your shard shop currency on Datacron materials. The reason for that is because most of you are in the part of the game where Datacrons are nice, but you're losing Grand Arenas because you don't have 6 Galactic Legends, not because you didn't have the broken Moff Gideon Datacron, right? That a lot of you just are, it's more important for you to build your account. Datacrons, listen, we all hate them, I know. But the big problem with Datacrons is that those materials expire, and you only keep like 30% of what you have in your inventory at any one time. So what ends up happening is that these, you think, if I buy, 9,000 Shard Shop currency worth of Datacron materials, by the time the next season rolls around, I only have 3,000 Shard Shop currency left. So I lost 6,000 Shard Shop currency by those Datacrons just expiring. Whereas I buy this gear and it's helping me for forever. That it's going to be the difference between me being able to take my, Mother Talzin here from Gear 12 to Gear 13 faster because I have the resources from the Shard Shop. So guys, those are 2 resources that I just really think, 2 currencies that are just completely undervalued. And I think a lot of times they get overlooked because you don't notice this overnight change. And that's something that is really hard in this game is, you're almost structured to think, oh, it's about like, am I seeing the impact today? But this game is, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But the other way to say that is think about when you're looking at farming and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not making any progress. Multiply it by a factor of 10, multiply it by a factor of 50, and see how much of a difference that makes. All of a sudden, those numbers don't seem that small, right? All of a sudden, you'll start to see that your account is growing and growing and growing, and it's because you're utilizing these resources so you can progress your account along in multiple ways. If you're just sitting here buying core gear that you don't need and you don't have enough bronzium wiring, like, here's your answer, and now you're moving your account further along. Hey, like, it's just the way this game works, that if you can really understand these currencies, you'll move faster. So, enough rambling from me. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this helps. I love you all so much. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.